If I was able to save you up to 50% from your current provider, would you be interested? If I was able to increase your closing ratio on the sales side by as much as 30%, talking to a sales guy, would you be interested? If they say yes or no, you have to have an answer. That's the case of rebuttals. You have to be able to go 2 or 3 levels down. When they say yes or no to your question, if they say no to your question or they say yes to your question and you have nothing to say back, then you need to rehearse again. Because if you don't have anything to say then to a response that they have, you should know when asking a question what the response is going to be or what options they have. If you ask a yes or no question, what's their response? Yes or no. So if you don't have a response back to them based on the yes or no, that's your fault, not theirs. Would you be interested in saving 30%? They say no. Well, other dealers do. Let me tell you what we do. Go right into it. It doesn't matter. Who cares what they say? You have a script. You have a job to do. You're trying to sell digital signs. You're trying to sell the concept of digital signs. If I was to tell you that if you put in our system, you could have other dealers go ahead and increase their service revenues 30%, would you be interested in learning more about that? Great. They say no. Great. Doesn't matter. You got your pitch that you got to do. No, I don't want to learn about how to save 30%. Did you just hear yourself?
I'm going to know that comment you probably should have said to begin with.
Yeah. So do you not plan on being there very long? These are things you say in your head, not things you say out loud. But the idea is that why would they say no to that? That's why you give a big pitch. I talked to a guy on LinkedIn that swears that he'd rather go ahead and print stuff out on a big sheet of paper. And I said, how the rest of your marketing, 99% of your marketing is digital. And yet when people come into your service department, everything that you're giving them is on paper. Do you see the disconnect? Yeah, but. Yeah, but my people like paper. Oh, really? Then why do you advertise to them in digital? When was the last time you took out a service ad in your local paper? The return on that investment isn't there. The trackability isn't there. So when was the last time you did it? You had to take it into a bigger picture. When was the last time that you yourself opened up the newspaper? Mr. Dealer, do you get the newspaper at your house? What section do you read? Well, I read the sports. How many ads in there for car dealers? Well, I don't look at the ads. Oh, ironic. But sometimes you have to be, if you have nothing to lose, it's okay to go ahead and push and ask those questions. But you have to have that mentality in your mind that the problem that we have here is just the culture of this is something that dealers need, something that dealers want. It motivates their staff, the sales leaderboard. How much time do they spend in a day updating the sales leaderboard? You do 400 sales in a month. How many sales do you do in a month? That's the question. How much time does it take you to update the board every time? Oh, just a few minutes. Well, a few minutes times 400, what does that mean to you? Hours? When you're updating the board, do you go ahead and reorganize the people based on how many cars they've sold? No. Well, so you're telling me that the guy who sold the most cars could be 5 or 6 rows down? Very possible. Does your board automatically adjust for trends? Can't, right? Does your board automatically calculate gross? Can't. Does your board automatically provide historical projections from the last 90 days to the day? Does your board let you know how many pending deals are out there? Create value in the products, one by one. What's the value? The Dare to Compare board. Some dealers are for it, some dealers are against it. If the dealer's against it, they're like against it like the plague. We don't put up dare to compare boards because this, and this. Don't fight it. Because we have other service products. How do you let your customers know service pricing? Oh, we just tell them the price. Did you know that the second biggest complaint of service customers in the dealership is transparency, lack thereof? And that when a customer comes up and they don't know the price, they think you're actually making it up, or the price is a variable amount based on if the advisor likes them or not? There are two complaints in car dealerships in the service department that are the biggest complaints. How long it takes, right? Which is a byproduct of lack of communication, which is also part of transparency. So lack of communication is really the number one. But when you break down what that means, right? When someone says something to you like that's really broad, you're like, what does that actually mean? Lack of communication. It also means that lack of status updates. Not knowing where their vehicle is, not knowing how long it's going to take, not knowing what their process is internally. Did you know that if you ask most customers, as I've polled customers at local dealerships here, how many customers does this dealership see in a day? Their numbers are always a fraction of whatever the actual number is, because they have no perception that you may be doing 100 to 200 ROs. Because they only see 2 or 3 people waiting in the lounge. Maybe you see 20 people in the lounge, so they think you only have 20 cars, when you really have 100 that you're working on just today. And you have 100 that are sitting there that need to be worked on too. They don't see your bays. They don't see all the stuff you have going on. What is the most popular reason why people are upset about the process at the car dealership service area? Lack of communication. What does that mean? Lack of communication is lack of knowing where their car is, lack of acknowledgement of their status. Lack of transparent pricing. We have products that fill this void. Boost CSI. CSI is the rating that they get when you go to a car. You guys ever heard of J.D. Power? When you go, J.D. Power goes ahead, is a third party that goes ahead and evaluates how well dealerships are doing. They're a data company. And basically what they do is they poll the dealership, people who go to the dealership, and see how the dealership is doing. It's a third-party way of metering and providing bonuses to the dealership. Many dealers will make more money on their bonuses for a positive CSI or positive experience than on the actual vehicle itself. If you don't give all 5 stars and all 5 rating on it, then it's like getting 0. And on the sales side, you could actually get 0 commission if you don't get 100% across the board, because the dealer doesn't get paid either. So that all filters down. So it's very, very important for them. So if we could boost CSI, that might be a weak point. And that may be something that we could attack on the service side. On the sales side, our stuff makes people feel differently. Sales appointment boards. When somebody comes in, they see their name, they're welcomed. Just sell the emotion of digital signs.